to a very serious edition of Story Jam. Today we'll be talking about the learner profile attribute of being knowledgeable. Knowledgeable people are very studious. They work hard, they are dedicated, and they seek to find new information.
Did you know that elephants are the only animal that can't jump?
Excuse me, I am doing a very serious edition of Story Jam. I apologize. Anyway, back to our learner attribute of being knowledgeable. Knowledgeable people seek new information and they work hard to apply it to circumstances.
Did you know that bats always turn left when they exit a cave?
While that is very interesting, I'm sorry, I'm working on Story Jam right now. I'm so very sorry. As I was saying, with knowledgeable people, we understand that we don't always know everything. So it's okay to say, I don't know, and we work hard to learn new information.
Did you know that giraffes have no vocal cords?
That is interesting.
I guess that's why there's never been a giraffe band.
Okay, all right, that's enough. Thank you for helping me realize that being knowledgeable doesn't have to be stuffy and boring. You know, it's really great to learn new things, and we can have fun doing it. Oh my goodness, think of a topic that you're interested in and learn more about it. That's a great part of being knowledgeable. You know, I think about Mr. Landé, and he wanted to build a shed in his backyard. So he researched and found out how to do that. That's what knowledgeable people do. Well, today we're going to read a really great nonfiction book. Nonfiction books are full of true information, and they can help us learn about new things. So we're going to open up to our story in our nonfiction book with true information about a very special friendship. This is the true story of two great friends, a baby hippopotamus named Owen and a 130-year-old giant tortoise named Mazet. The hippo was not always friends with the tortoise. He wasn't always known as Owen, and Owen was not always famous the world over. Here's how it all happened. Before the baby hippopotamus became known as Owen, he lived with his mother in a group, or a pod, with about 20 other hippos. They fed and wallowed in and around the Sabaki River in Kenya, a nation in the east coast of Africa. When he was about 1 year old, heavy December rains flooded the river. The racing water washed Owen and his family down the river until the fresh water became salty and the river flowed into the Indian Ocean near the small coastal town of Malindi. For days, the people of Malindi tried to chase the hippos back up the river, but the hippos enjoyed grazing the grasses along the shore and in the villagers' yards. And since hippos are the most dangerous animals in Africa, and since a full-grown hippopotamus can weigh as much as 8,000 pounds, there was little the people could do. Now, a great thing that many nonfiction books provide are captions for photographs. So I'm going to read the captions as we read our book here. Owen lived in a pod of hippos like this one. So a pod is the name for a group of hippos. On the morning of December 26th, 2004, the sea suddenly rushed high onto the beaches, and surging waves pounded the shore. Many of the villagers' boats were damaged, and many fishermen had to be rescued. Before long, the sea was calm again, but it was a frightening time for everybody. A whole day passed before anyone thought to check on the hippos. The villagers now saw only one hippopotamus in the sea, a baby without his mother, stranded on a sandy coral reef along the seagrass. Tired and frightened, he was unable to reach the shore on his own. Soon, hundreds of villagers and visitors were working together to help the young hippo. They knew that he would become sick if he stayed in the salty seawater for long. They used ropes, boats, fishing nets, and even cars to try to rescue him and bring him ashore to safety. This caption says, Owen was stranded alone on the reef. And this caption says, Malindi fishermen and their colorful decorated wooden boats. It was soon clear that a rescue wouldn't be easy. Though the baby hippo was only about 2 feet tall, he weighed a hefty 600 pounds, and he was slippery and strong, and the hippo was alarmed by all of the human commotion. Angrily, he broke through the nets and escaped from their ropes. Hours went by, and the anxious crowds of people who gathered to watch feared that the hippo could not be saved. Finally, with a stronger shark net, the rescuers were able to catch the hippo. A brave visitor named Owen Sobian tackled him, stopping him long enough to let the others secure the net. That is why, when it came time to choose a name for the hippo, it only seemed right to call him Owen. At last, the rescuers towed the baby toward land, and when they reached the shore, a loud, joyous cheer went up from the 1,000 men, women, boys, and girls who now crowded the beach. Their happy cries could be heard almost a mile away. Wrapped in the net, Owen was hoisted into the back of the pickup and brought to a shady spot. This caption says, the cheers could be heard from almost a mile away. I would have been cheering too. People weren't sure where Owen should be taken next. They called Holler Park, an animal sanctuary about 50 miles away near the city of Mombasa. Dr. Paula Kahumbu, the manager, immediately offered Owen a place to live. She explained that he could never be returned to the wild, though. Since he was still a baby when he was rescued, he wouldn't have learned how to fend for himself, and he would never be welcomed into another hippopod. He would be seen as an intruder and attacked. But they would take good care of him at Holler Park. Dr. Paula offered to drive to Malindi herself to bring Owen to his new home. Dr. Paula knew she would need help. She asked the chief animal caretaker, Stefan Tui, to come along with her. She knew that Stefan had a special way with animals. Some people said he could even talk to them. Dr. Paula and Stefan quickly set off in her small truck to Malindi. Meanwhile, ecologist Sabine Bauer got to work with others at Holler Park to prepare for Owen's arrival. This caption says, Dr. Paula, Stefan, and Sabine were eager to help the orphaned hippo. When Dr. Paula and Stefan arrived in Malindi, they helped to remove the nets and led Owen out of the pickup. But Owen became angrier than ever and charged at the people gathered around. They tried to help him calm down by wrapping a blanket around his head. That way, he wouldn't see the things that were upsetting him. But Owen was angry about that too. After many hours, about a dozen rescuers managed to move Owen from the pickup to Dr. Paula's truck, tying him so he could be safe during the long journey to Holler Park. This caption says, everyone tried to make Owen as comfortable as possible. Meanwhile, Sabina and the other workers prepared a large enclosure for Owen. They chose a part of the park that had a pond and a mud wallow, as well as tall trees and brush, everything a hippo could want. The area was already home to a number of bushbucks, vervet monkeys, and a giant Aldabra tortoise named Mazay. Mazay, whose name means old wise man in the Swahili language, was the oldest creature in the park. At about 130 years of age, he had been alive since before Stefan's great-grandmother was born. He wasn't very friendly, except to Stefan, who seemed to know just what he liked, such as getting tickled under his chin. Otherwise, Mazay kept to himself. No one could have guessed how Mazay's life was about to change. This caption says, Stefan tickles Mazay. And this caption says, Mazay, the wise old man of Holler Park. "130 years old. Wow." Finally, Dr. Paula and Stefan arrived with Owen, who was now weak and exhausted. As soon as the ropes that held him were untied, Owen scrambled from the truck directly to Mazay, resting in a corner of the enclosure. Owen crouched behind Mazay, the way baby hippos often hide behind their mothers for protection. At first, Mazay wasn't happy about this attention. He hissed at Owen and crawled away. But Owen, who could easily keep up with the old tortoise, did not give up. Slowly, as the night went on, Mazay began to accept his new companion. When the park workers checked on them in the morning, Owen was snuggled up against Mazay, and Mazay didn't seem to mind at all. This caption says, at first Mazay crawled away, but Owen wouldn't give up. This caption says, that night Owen and Mazay snuggled close together. Aww, I want to snuggle a baby hippo. It's probably not a good idea. Over the next few days, Mazay continued to crawl away, and Owen continued to follow him. But sometimes it was Owen who would walk away from Mazay, and Mazay would follow him. Bit by bit, Mazay grew friendlier. At first, Owen wouldn't eat any of the leaves left out for him. Stefan and the other caretakers were worried that he would weaken even more. Then they noticed Owen feeding right beside Mazay, as if Mazay were showing him how to eat. Or perhaps it was Mazay's protective presence that helped Owen feel comfortable enough to eat. No one will ever know, but it was clear that the bond between Owen and Mazay was helping the baby hippo to recover from being separated from his mother and stranded in the sea. This caption says, with Mazay by his side, Owen began to eat. This caption says, Owen and Mazay were never far apart. As the weeks went on, Owen and Mazay spent more and more time together. Soon they were inseparable. Their bond remains strong to this very day. They swim together, eat together, drink together, and sleep next to each other. They rub noses. Owen leads the way to different parts of the enclosure. Then Mazay leads the way to others. Owen playfully nuzzles Mazay's neck, and Mazay stretches his long neck forward, asking for more, just as he does when Stefan tickles him under his chin. Though both animals could easily injure each other, they are gentle with one another. A sense of trust has grown between them. This caption says, both hippos and tortoises love the water. This caption says, Owen nuzzles Mazée's ticklish neck. Oh. Wildlife experts are still puzzled about how this unlikely friendship came to be. Most have never heard of a mammal, such as Owen, and a reptile, such as Mazée, forming such a strong bond. Perhaps for Owen, it happened this way. Young hippos like Owen need their mothers in order to survive. An old, slow tortoise like Mazée can never protect Owen the way a fierce mother hippo could. But since Mazée's coloring and rounded shape are similar to a hippo's, it's possible that to Owen, Mazée looks like a hippo mother he needed. Harder to explain is the affection that Mazée seems to show for Owen. Like most Aldabra tortoises, Mazée had always preferred to be alone. But sometimes those tortoises live in groups, and perhaps Mazée sees Owen as a fellow tortoise, the first tortoise he's willing to spend time with. Or perhaps Mazée knows that Owen isn't a tortoise, but likes him anyway. The reasons are unclear, but science can't always explain what the heart already knows. Our most important friends are sometimes those we least expected. This caption says, Mazée and Owen play Follow the Leader. News of Owen and Mazée's friendship quickly spread around the world. People all over have come to love Owen, who endured so much, yet never gave up. And Mazée, who became Owen's friend when he needed it most. These photographs have appeared in countless newspaper and magazine articles, television programs, and even a film documentary have been made about them. Visitors come to Holler Park every day to meet the famous friends. This caption says, Owen and Mazée look out for each other. Just like friends do, we look out for each other. Owen suffered a great loss, but with the help of many caring people, and through his own extraordinary resilience, Owen has become a new, happy life. Most remarkable is the role that Mazée has played. We'll never know for sure whether Owen sees Mazée as a mother, a father, or just a very good friend. But it really doesn't matter. What matters is that Owen isn't alone, and neither is Mazée. And that is the true story of Owen and Mazée, two great friends. This caption says, Owen's future is bright. Because this is a nonfiction book, there's more information about the location of the story and about these types of animals. So I'll be sharing a little bit more about the facts behind this book in another story jam. I wonder what you would like to become more knowledgeable about. What is a topic that you're curious about? Wow. I really encourage you to find out more information about it. You can use reliable websites, great nonfiction books, or you could even ask experts around you. I can't wait to hear what you become more knowledgeable about. Thank you for joining me on another edition of Story Jam. I will see you again very soon.